Hi everybody, I'm George Avari from Knowledge Tree Consulting. I've had a business for 39 years with my business partner Peter in Toronto, and it's been a crazy journey. If I could do it again and I knew what I know now, it would have been a heck of a lot easier. So the question is, why do some business owners make it seem effortless? And the short answer to that is knowledge. They know what to do and when to do it. And they also manage their time incredibly well. So there's a concept called time blocking, which we've been doing with a lot of our clients. And what we do is we take your calendar, and the first thing we do is we block out personal time. So this is non-negotiable personal time. Then what we do is we block out what I call flex time, where you could do personal or you could do business. So it's an option, right? And then the third thing that we do is we start blocking out things that are like absolutely critical. Say, for example, invoicing and bookkeeping. So when is that time block happening? We never want to do it 3 times a week. We want to do it once a week for smaller businesses and just block out those 4 hours. And then we get to things like operations and scheduling. Obviously, technology is infused everywhere. Human resources is also blocked out. When are we recruiting? And I'm talking both in weekly blocks and monthly blocks, including staff reviews. Everything's in the calendar, and then we create a recurring event for years to come. And we'll change it if we hire another person to take over the role. But essentially, I know exactly when I'm doing things. Even in terms of meeting clients, I only meet with clients at certain times, and there are no exceptions unless it's a billionaire. So I always make exceptions. But generally speaking, that would jump into my flex time. So once we create these time blocks, it's a game changer because my family knows what's going on, and it becomes predictable and repeatable. If you want to have a great business that runs without you, set up that predictability, and then when the new staff come in, they get that same schedule, but a piece of your schedule, and all of a sudden you start working less and making more. So really it's about time blocking, and that's the magic. The best example of that is Elon Musk. How does this guy run all these companies and then at the same time have time for politics and then fighting the rest of the leaders in the world? But it's amazing. It's absolutely possible. There are techniques to it. It takes about 5 or 6 hours to sit down with your calendar and block this out, and it'll be a game changer. So I'll give you an example. If someone asks me to play tennis for leisure, if it's not in my flex time, or I just say no, I can't do it. And that makes me be focused on what I need to get done. So the last thing you want to do is kick things down the road, kick the can down the road. You got to be on top of everything when it needs to be done and be proactive. So this allows you to be proactive. And then anywhere that's open in your calendars, that allows you for reactive time, for whatever. It's not even flex time. It's like whatever time. If you want to go see a movie or read a book, you could do that. So it's really fun to take calendars. And if you think about it, you've got between 40 and 60 hours to do work. Choose your time wisely and you will get great results. I would say I would look at time as the most valuable thing, not money, and I wouldn't try and save. I would try and invest. I had a savings mindset for a very long time. Now I'm lucky because I'm in a wealthy mindset. I could have had that earlier. And the companies that I run into that are startups with younger owners that have wealthy mindsets, they blow the doors off of everybody else with the terrified conservative mindset. Cheap, cheap, cheap. Cheap is no fun, and I think that held me back probably for 25-30% of my career. It's only when I actually hired my first consultant, and back then I paid $35,000. I think at the time our company was about $2 million in revenue, and that was a game changer because it made me see. You know what you know, you don't know what you don't know. You know what you know, you don't know what you know what you don't know, and you don't know what you don't know. Well, man, I learned a heck of a lot, and that was game changing for our business. I read a book. It's interesting about time to think. So when you're agitated in an irritated state, you're never going to make good decisions. So imagine your entire world is firefighting, and there's arsonists everywhere. You can never create a firefighting plan. Once you start making certain moves, so I'm going to give you an example. You buy a truck and you buy it used and it breaks down and you were going to do something. Now you got to drop what you're going to do, order the tow truck, or try and fix it yourself, there is a disruption to your workflow. So you got to make sure that you get processes and people and make decisions where really everything just flows. And it's a conscious choice. And the sum of all those good choices end up adding up to an amazing life. And you can get there a heck of a lot sooner than you think. We have this graph that we show, what shouldn't I do? Start with what shouldn't you do? What shouldn't I do? There's so many things you can do that do not cost money that are going to have a huge return on your business. There has to be some willpower, though, that's for sure. So our business consulting is a little bit different than most. I like to go into businesses, get my hands dirty, see what's going on, and then help implement processes to make these transformations happen, and at the same time coach the leaders. Oftentimes you don't know what to do, and that's the biggest problem. When we started, we had no mentors. There was nobody to go to. Nobody would give us advice, and now there's abundant resources for that. There's YouTube channels, but sometimes it's just great to get somebody to get their hands in there in your business and help you make those correct moves and implement those correct processes. So we can get in there and do that. We can also do advisory services. So when you have doubts, right? Doubts kill. We want to make sure that we kill your doubts. And that's something that we can really help with. In the 39 years we've been in business, we've learned enormous lessons. And we have an enormous network of people. If we don't know the answer, we can find out the answer. But there's nothing worse than indecision and paralysis. And that can disappear once you start working with us.